Ooh, hello there, my fellow miners and crafters. GoodTimesWithScar here, and welcome back to the wonderful world of hermits and crafting. And we're flying right on through Scarlandia, now being protected by the Scarlandia Fire Department and all of our awesome fire trucks that we built in our last episode. Look at that thing parked on the side there, ready to cross the street. And of course, we built our ladder truck on the other side of the BFR. Oh my gosh, these things absolutely made my day. I don't know why they were so fun, but I think it's the challenge of Minecraft, right? I'm very poor at certain things in Minecraft, and when you're able to achieve something like that and you're able to break that barrier, it's really satisfying. It's really fun to do something that you're terrible at, right? Think about like things that you maybe aren't so great at, but then you nailed. Like, isn't that fun? That's just a great feeling of accomplishment. And I think we did that in the last episode. And of course, thank you so much for the support on those vehicles. And yeah, that was really fun. But today we must work on another project, and another project will be power. How else are these buildings functionable? How are these fountains going? Actually, they're not really going. They're all broken at the moment. And how is the BFR taking off? Well, we need power of the city. That is right. And I have a couple ideas on transforming this area into a power grid. And what we're going to be working on is wind turbines, solar panels, and maybe a couple other surprises along the way. We'll see how it all works out. But let's fly to the top of the building here, seeing the BFR taking off into the sky, looking super beautiful. Down below here, guys, as you can see, I prepped the area a little bit. I stole some dirt from over there, and I've cleaned off this entire ring right here. We're going to be putting wind turbines, about 5 of them, all the way across that section. I think it's going to look absolutely amazing in that portion of the build. Next thing we need to do is we need to decide where our massive solar panel arrays are going to be placed. So, there's a lot of blank space right here, but there's one thing within the city that I've tried to achieve is to keep all the man-made objects within the round circle. So I think we're going to kind of break the guidelines just a little bit, and that is a beautiful view right there, and I got distracted. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the solar panels along here. I think that could be a really, really good place. Now, if we fly on into the sunset here, there's also another location right here that we could do something, but I'm not 100% sure what. Maybe some kind of, fusion reactor of some kind powering that, which I believe is like the future of power once that equation's cracked. So yeah, I think this for sure will be where we build the wind turbines. And of course, on the other side of the CDF, I think that is where our solar panels are going to go. And these are very futuristic and awesome. So let me go get some supplies and let's get this episode underway. And don't forget to hit that like button if you're feeling Scarlandia-like. Nearly gathered all the resources for today. We are going to need a lot of white concrete for our wind turbines, and before we do that, I want to stop and answer a question that I got quite a bit in the last comments, and that was the interiors of some of the structures and why they're not all complete. And the reason being is I'm just a simple Scar, and I only have so much time and resources to work in the different areas. So I've kind of allocated my time to completing the structures of the build. So building up the facades, getting all of the structural detail of a city complete before we go inside of the actual, building. So before we, add all the interior details to these areas, I just feel like it's more important to get the skyscrapers all in place and then start working on it instead of spending, countless hours and weeks working on just one interior and not being able to build all the different skyscrapers that we have. So that's the reason. It's just kind of time allocation and resource management is I think it's more important to build up the structures and get these things all in place and then work on those interiors, because the interiors are not something that you see right away. Now, of course, it is very important to finish out all of the interiors as best as we can. Think of, GTA or things like that, where it's kind of disappointing when you can't go inside of some of the interiors of buildings and things along those lines. And I don't want to have that feeling here in Scarlandia. So one of the ideas that I had potentially was maybe in one of our residential buildings, we could sell some of the floors. Well, not that one, that's the sugarcane farm. farm. But, you know, these two buildings are residential style buildings, and we could sell off the floors to maybe a hermit. Maybe a hermit wants to, you know, make up like a vacation apartment or condo or something in here. Might be kind of fun to see them put their own stamp on a floor and just add a little bit more immersion. But like I said, I just feel like time management, resource management, all is better spent in building up all of the buildings and then working on the interiors. But of course, the interiors are the heart of the structure, so we will definitely get to that. And I'm going to be doing some of that on camera, some of that off camera, some of it on streams, just to get it all done before the season ends. But we still have plenty of time to get all the things that we want completed. So let me finish up getting that wet concrete, and then let's get a building. High above Scarlandia on the BFR, looking down over where we're going to build today, and I put down these markers. Now I kind of regret doing them in green because they kind of blend into the surroundings. So that was a bit of an oversight on my part. But as you guys can see, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I want to do 5 of these, and there's a hill in the way. There's a hill. And the issue is my perfectionism has come into play where I must take down said hill because I can't have this hill here because the hill is going to make it out of scale, because we can't just like build the other one like right up here or anything, because then it would be higher than the others and that looks super awkward. So I guess the hill's got to go. I guess the hill's got to go, and then this one over here needs to go maybe about 5 more blocks this way, so there's a little bit more spacing between this roadway, so it's a little bit more even. But yeah, I think this will be really cool, and it just frames up this side of the road really nicely, and being on the outskirts is typical in fashion of these kind of power sources. So all right, I gotta go take down a hill. I'll see you guys after I do that. Welcome back, and as the fog lifts, you can see where we chopped out a mountain to fit our wind turbine, which I am quite excited about. So these are roughly spaced out about 35 blocks, and there is 5 of the towers. Now I might make a couple little modifications to the arrangement. So I think I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to bring it out. Let's just say we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just to give myself just a little bit more room from this one. I know that pushes us fairly close to the street. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from here 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go back 5 blocks. I think that's roughly about 5 blocks. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I think that's good. Just a little bit more away from the road there, and it'll give us a bit more room. So in the inventory here, we've got some powdered concrete, because any of our vertical pieces, we are going to do them in the powdered concrete to avoid having to concretify them together. So I might build up each one of these cylinders here, and then from there kind of measure out to make sure that each portion of the blades, as they turn, they wouldn't hit each other. So that's what I'm kind of concerned about a little bit, just because these are fairly close together. Now the design that I'm going to be going with today is fairly simple, because in a test world I made quite a few different ones, and what I found was the more detailed I made them, the less they looked kind of realistic and just as good, which is funny because in most of the time in Minecraft we're always trying to achieve a higher level of detail, but when it comes to this build, simple is better. And I'm actually not going to be using that many half slabs nor stairs in this build, and that's kind of surprised me at first, because when we look at it, a lot of our stuff that we do, it's always highly detailed, lots and lots of little lines and colors and things along those lines. But for the most part, in this particular build, we're not going to get too crazy because it takes away from the simplicity of the design of the towers. So we're actually going to be fairly simple, and it's kind of an interesting design lesson to be a little bit sparing when it comes to over detail, because at a time you can get over detailed, and I think this will be pretty cool. So we're not going to go super high, so I think I'm going to probably go up, maybe let's actually take a look from ground level here and see how that's looking. Okay, I think I'm going to take this up about 5 more blocks, and I think that'll be pretty good. So like I said, I think I'm going to build each of the towers first and then start working on the turning portions of it and start kind of rotating the blades and all that cool stuff. I think it's going to be really fun, and it'll take a little bit to get the exact, design, because what I want is something like this, so that the blade comes out like that, and then we go in a little bit and then a little more like that. So you can kind of see how I want the blade to kind of arc, except the opposite direction. So I think that'll be pretty cool. So yeah, let me start building this one up just a little bit more, And then, of course, we can start building each and every one of the other towers. High above Scarlandia in the skyscraper, and we need to build our penthouse in here. And I want you guys to give us a couple ideas for the design. And I say we because this is going to become the new home of the convex, or at least a little getaway from our standard hideaway. So we have a ton of room to work with in here, but I want to know in the comments, Vex penthouse ideas, so hashtag Vex ideas, and I want to hear from you guys what you think would be cool in here for a Vex hideaway. But anyway, I told you guys we'll take a look at the tower. So what I've done is I've risen it 5 blocks further, and the other 5 is going to be the mechanism that the kind of turbine, I guess, would attach to. I'm trying to be technically specific, and I'm kind of failing at that because I actually don't really know. Oh, we missed it again. I mean, how many times can I possibly fall off of that? Anyway, so I think that's a good height. Then there'll be 5 more blocks above that, and that's where the mechanism that has the blades will turn. So I think that'll be pretty cool. Now, we got to do the rest of these. So we need to kind of measure this out again. So they're spaced out around 40 blocks or so, I think is my new number, what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to need to expand out this area right here. So we have this run right on the edge. So we'll just expand this out 4 more blocks similar to what we did over there. And yeah, that'll be perfect. So let's build these white towers all the way down the road. Welcome back, and as you can see, both towers are set up and ready to go, and I think we ended up getting 5 of them. I was a little worried we might have to go down the 4, but we are at 5, and they are all calculated out and looking super fancy. So they are 50 blocks apart, and I wanted to make sure they did have enough room, because once I started accounting for how wide the fan blades are going to be, each one's around 20 to 22 blocks long, they may like touch tips with one another, and I needed to make sure that didn't happen because that's not super realistic. So another thing I also forgot to count for was that they're not on the same plane of the blocks. So say we had the little propellers or fan blades or whatever going out this way, it's not even going to come close to this one over there because it's further back, and this one's a little further forward, of course, because of the way the circle arches. So yeah, we wouldn't have really had to contend with that, but I think it'll still look better giving them their own space, and I think that's just going to be super fancy. Now, as for the concrete, I'm definitely going to need to get some more concrete because these things took a little bit more than I thought. I mean, isn't that every project we ever do? Everything always takes more time and more resources than ever anticipated, but that's okay. You know you're going to do something awesome when you are running out of resources. At least I always find that way. So yeah, let me get some more concrete and I'll meet you at the top and we'll start working on those blades. So our first tower is starting to take shape. Now it's just a little box on the top, or a little rectangle, but it's a good starting point for our design. So what we're going to start with is this. We're going to use this dirt real quick, and we're just going to measure this out and just get a really baseline idea. So right here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and that should leave us a little bit of space there. Let me back off one bit here and just see. So that's a spacing of 1, and that's a spacing of 2. Perfect. Okay, so let me grab my note because I did write this out before we started because I didn't want to miscount. I mean, it's a service I do provide here. Along with mispronouncing your names, I also miscount often. So we're working on the first fan blade here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm gonna go to 5. Okay, so we're gonna bring it out to 5 like so. And like I said before, I'm not 100% sure what to call these. I'm just gonna call them blades because I think that sounds super cool, by the way. So that is our first portion of the blade. Now we have to kind of decide how it's turning. So is it turning this way, which would be counterclockwise, or would it be turning clockwise? For some reason, I just feel like they should be turning counterclockwise. I don't know why, but that's just the way it works here in Scarlandia. The laws of standard physics and normalcy don't apply here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're gonna knock that off. That's a casualty of this build right there. I'm sad to see you go, my friend, but you were a solid block. Actually, it was solid because it was a hardened block. There we go. Put this guy all the way across. Beautiful. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, double check. Beautiful. And then we'll put that right up there. Don't you guys love building? What in the world? Look at the little cat. It looks like it's floating. Oh, I love that. That's hilarious. Anyway, like I was trying to say was, I love building up in the air. I don't know why. I was just in Minecraft. I've said this before. I love building in the air. I especially hate building underground, considering I spent half this season underground. But I definitely like what I built there and all. But I just don't like building underground. I like building up in the air. That's what's been so fun with all of these skyscrapers. It's being up way up in the air. I remember way back in like 2010 and building in Minecraft always on top of a hill. Like that was a big thing, always on top of a hill. Okay, my friends, now that we're at this point, we're going to go a little quicker here. There we go. So we're at 2. I'm just going to do these ones as singles just to get a better idea. So we're actually going to make 3 of these, okay? So we're entering the realm of our next fan. So that's 1, 2, 3, perfect. So I need to be a little cautious. Now I might scale these back down, but we'll see how it goes. And then I'm going to bring over this guy and I'm going to give one more on the top. Beautiful. Just a little flick of the tip there. And I think that is going to be very, very nice. Now, how do we make this thing look just a little bit better? Because it's a lot of white. So my idea is to add 1 layer of light gray concrete just to give it a little bit of definition. So I have that on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy all the way down like so. So we're going to run this all the way down to the bottom and then we'll take flight into the air and see what it stores for us. There we go. So we're going to fly up here to the floating cat head. There we go. And come back down. Okay. I like it. You know what? I think that's a decent scale. I like that. Now envision 4 more of those. Like I said before, some of the laws of normalcy that we know from our own world don't apply here in Scarlandia. These are going to have 4 blades. Traditionally, these wind turbines have around 3 blades. So we're actually going to have 4 because we need extra power here. There's a lot going on in the city. So I think that looks pretty good. So of course, we're going to put more of these along here. So we need 1 going vertical, actually 2 verticals, and then 1 more horizontal. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So yeah, math's doing really good today, guys. That's right. It was only 3. I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I hope you guys like that design. I think the tip there needs a little bit of a change. So let's fly over here and just get one more little bit of a perspective. With all this flying, we're definitely going to hit close to 20,000. See right up there, I think it needs to have maybe 1 gray block on the top there. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll work on that. But yeah, I'm actually really liking this. So we'll have a few more little details, potentially some half slabs, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, look at how majestic that's looking. First wind turbine done and ready to spin. I think that is pretty darn good in terms of a design. Like I said, we're trying to keep these about as simple as possible because overcomplicating them with, varied heights, as you start with a bigger base and then get smaller as you go up, or adding a lot of half slabs and stairs in terms of quartz, I think really degrades the general style of it. And just keeping it fairly simple is definitely, I think, the preferred way of doing this. Now, there are definitely places that we could add half slabs, and we could add them just around the corners, like right here, and of course on the top section. And we might do that. We might totally do that. But for now, I'm really enjoying the simplicity of the design. I think that came out really nice. This one right here, that's a difficult one to make, to get the undersection built and all of that. I'm going to try to think of like easier ways of doing it. The way I had it was like a mile of scaffolding built up all around it, and of course this vertical one there. But I like it. I think the slopes of the blades are just perfect. And now we need to make 4 more of them and get those all spinning away. And I think we're gonna have, do we have enough? Probably not quite enough concrete, so we'll definitely have to get some more of that. I think there is some more over by the spaceport over there. So yeah, let's check one thing before we start working on this. So if I start building these outwards, yes, okay, perfect. These are going to have a little bit of a buffer between the two. Perfect. That is going to be amazing. How do you like it, Mr. Pig? What do you think about that? You like it? Are you a statue? This is my statue pig. I forgot. Oh gosh, he came alive. Okay. He came alive. I was like, that's my statue pig. Anyway, guys, let's start getting all of these built up and ready to roll. Spin, not roll. These spin, not really rolling. Welcome back, and all of them are complete and ready to power ScarCity, and they are looking pretty cool. Now there is some modifications like I've spoke about before that I might do. We might take the half slabs and put them on the curves here. So let's fly onto this one and take a look at it. So we can put them here. Now of course quartz is a slightly different tone than the rest of it, so it's a little bit more yellows and pinkish tone to it than the very cold white of the concrete. So it sticks out a little bit more than I wanted to. Another thing we could do is take stairs and kind of round this section off a little bit. But on the other hand, it's really nice that they're simple. There's not a lot to it in terms of, crazy details, but I think the design is supposed to be simple. It's not supposed to be too much in your face craziness, but I like them. I think this is really, really cool. I'm really pleased with this, but I got to show you something crazy on this one. Look at this. Let me get in the right angle here. I got to fly into the right spot. Let's see, can I zoom in here? There it is. There's that cat. That cat would not move. So I just decided to build the entire thing around, I'm going to call it Wind Cat. That's right. It's Wind Cat. Look at the little cat up there. Oh, that's hilarious. Anyway, so now that we've got this form of power going, we need to think about another form, and that is solar. So how do we make super futuristic solar panels that can power Scarlandia? What do these things look like? So once again, I think they're going to have a little bit of a curve, very similar to these. So we'll kind of build up that design. And the question is, where do we put them within the city? Now, there's a lot of different options, and I think we spoke about those at the beginning of the episode. And I've been kind of circling around here and trying to figure that out, and I still haven't found the best place. So, I think we spoke about this portion right here. So maybe we could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along there, which might look good, but this is a very kind of special way into Scarland. This is the entrance. You want this area to look nice, right? So you don't want to just jam up a bunch of stuff and kind of ruin the sight lines, because we spent a lot of time, making sure all the buildings look right and scale and proportion and design. We don't want to just jam things up. Does that make sense? So I need to find a good spot. Like I said, this is a potential location, but I'd like to find somewhere else. I want to leave this area blank because this is where a whole bunch of future buildings are going to go. I mean, we could put the solar panels just below these. Ah, man, there's so many options. So let me fly around here just a little bit more and try to find the best location. Absolutely loving how our new wind turbines powering Scarlandia flanks this side of Scarlandia. Absolutely loving it. So now it is time to turn our attention to the sun here, and I think the best place to put these solar panels is of course in the east, because the sun is rising here, and I think if we have them all assembled in this area, it will look really, really cool. So let's start right here. So I measured out this little pole, and it's about 12 blocks shy of the road, so I think that is pretty good. There we go. And then we'll drop our little shulker boxes down, and the design for this particular build is primarily structurally built with light concrete, so light gray concrete, and we all have a mix of course, our solar panels and a bit of, oh, there you are, there's my cyan. Cyan never lets you down. That's one of the absolute best blocks in this game, because like I said, cyan doesn't let you down. It's always there for you when you need it. So yeah, all right, I think this is going to be a good place for the structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the thing about 6 inches, or not 6 inches, 6 blocks high, and then a spacing of about 4. So I'm going to push it back a little bit, and then it's going to have an arch that kind of goes up and down like that. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So let me try to build out that little skeleton of a structure, and I'll be right back. There we are. We've got a structure down, so that is the mechanism that's holding up the panel. So let's go up to the top here and start working. Now, like I said, I think the bed of it will be light concrete. So let's hop onto here. And so that'd be 1, and then there would be, let's see, let's just try 2 on each side, and then we'll see how much we want to put down. I don't have a ton of these solar panels. That is as much quartz as I could possibly find in my base. I'm starting to get a little bit low on resources. I kind of go in gradual stages of gathering. So there'll be a particular time where I spend a whole bunch of time gathering, and then I just kind of use it up as I get it. And I have not replenished in a little while. So I think we're gonna have to go back to the nether. I think we're gonna have to go back to the oceans and the deserts once again for more sand and of course gravel. So let's put this up to here. There we go. One more block. Beautiful. And we'll sneak on down to this level and we'll put one more row after that. There we go. And there's always a cat down below watching us. Never watching our back, I will have you guys know. Always watching, but never watching our back. Ah, cats. Anyway, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to put these solar panels down on here. I think this is actually going to look absolutely amazing. Hey, maybe we could actually have these inverted. Ooh, I like the color actually better, but we'll start with this for now. There we go. We'll loop these guys all the way. Oh, are you seriously? We're already out? Oh gosh, I was so worried there for a second. Oh, we only have 53 left. Oh my gosh. I do want to put some up there, but I can't reach. But let's take flight and we can kind of gauge to see if we should make it a little bit wider. You know, to me, it seems like we should, but as you guys know, we're very low on quartz, so I'm not sure I'm going to. So let's leave it at that for now, and that'll give us enough to hopefully make another one on this side, because eventually I'd like to have them stretch all the way around on each side, but of course that's going to take time to get all the quartz necessary. But so far I like this. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to make another one over here, and then I'm going to make a small little border. So I'm going to take some of our cyan once again, and I'm going to run it along the sides here just to give it a little border, you know, just to kind of make the sides nice, kind of finish them off a little bit. So let me do that and see. Maybe in one of my dusty redstone boxes, there may just be a little extra quartz. Welcome back, and we have both of the panels set up and ready to go. Was just able to get enough of the quartz in our dusty redstone boxes to finish one additional one. So I'm going to be off to the nether to get way more quartz so that we can make more of these, because I didn't realize that these things took so much quartz. But it is so cool now in Scarlandia to see more life in it, right? Instead of just buildings and roads, we've got vehicles running about. We've got our wind turbines over here. We've got our solar panels, BFRs reaching for the stars. Got the infrastructure for the airport down. All this stuff just makes the city feel more alive. And it's not just, like I said, it's not just a concrete slab in the air. It's got life to the city now with all the little things that we've been putting in lately, and that makes me super happy. Let's fly one more time down to our futuristic solar panels and take a look at those. Haha, look at that thing. That looks absolutely fantastic, and I am absolutely loving this city, and I hope you guys are too. And if you are liking these designs that we've been building lately, put hashtag super awesome city in the chat. I want to see it. Super awesome city if you made it to the end of the video and are liking all of our cool little new enhancements here. And guys, like always, thank you so much for watching today. And if you believe the videos are the rating, that would be very much appreciated. And until next time, this has been Good Times with Scar, and we'll see you later. And don't forget to subscribe, because you may just become scarred for life.